Welcome to Cook Like an Aunty, where we prove that you don't need to be an auntie to make delicious Indian food. Today, we're making a delicious Indian masala omelette. It's a quick and easy recipe that's great for breakfast, lunch, or a quick dinner. In addition to being quick and delicious for yourself, it's also a guaranteed uncle favorite. My in-laws don't usually like eggs, but they really like this recipe that I brought over from my family. Once I was staying over at my in-laws' house and they had a family friend over. I was making breakfast for everyone and I asked the family friend uncle if he wanted an omelet. He looked at me like, this ABCD doesn't know how to cook. I don't want like this egg and cheese omelet that he's gonna make. But then as I started cooking the curry leaves and the spices, he came over to the kitchen and looked interested. And then after he saw the finished omelet, he's like, oh, can I actually have an omelet? And after he ate it, he loved it, thought it was delicious, and still talks about it. So this recipe is definitely worth a try if you want to impress your Indian dad, grandpa, father-in-law, or any other favorite uncle in your life. Now to the recipe. The ingredients are pretty simple. You'll need 2 tablespoons of diced red onion, 1 sliced Thai chili, and about 10 curry leaves torn up. You can put all the vegetables into a single bowl. In addition, you'll also want a 1/4 teaspoon of red chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of fennel powder, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of vegetable oil or ghee. For utensils, all you need is an 8-inch omelet pan, which fits 2 eggs, and a spatula. Going back to the preparation, crack 2 eggs into a bowl. Use a fork or whisk to beat the eggs. This will take 1 to 2 minutes, but with the power of video editing, you only need to sit through 15 seconds of it. You'll want to beat them well until you see bubbles forming in the egg mixture. If you're enjoying this video so far, please subscribe to this channel for more Indian food recipes. I focus in particular on homemade Indian recipes in the United States. Back to cooking. Heat the omelet pan on low heat. After the pan is hot, add 2 teaspoons of ghee or vegetable oil to the pan. Spread the oil in the pan so it heats evenly. Once the oil is hot, add the onions, chili, and curry leaves to the pan. Let them cook until the onions start becoming translucent. Mix the vegetables into the oil. This helps in 2 ways. First, coating the vegetables in hot oil helps cook the vegetables more evenly. Second, the oil will absorb the flavors of the onions, chilies, and curry leaves and help spread that flavor throughout the omelet later on. When the onions start turning translucent, it's time to add our first round of spices. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of red chili powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of fennel powder to the pan and coat the vegetables with the spices. Once you're done coating the vegetables with the spices, spread them out evenly in the pan. The vegetables don't need to be cooked all the way before the eggs are added. The vegetables will continue to cook as the eggs also cook. As you can see, now's the time to add the eggs to the pan. They'll spread out on their own around the vegetables. At this point, many omelet recipes call for stirring the eggs around in the pan so the eggs cook faster and evenly. In this recipe, you don't want to stir the eggs in the pan. The type of omelet we're making is what renowned French chef Jacques Pepin calls a flat omelet in his book New Complete Techniques. Now we'll finish adding spices to the omelet. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of fennel powder to the omelet as it cooks. Spread out the spices evenly as you put them on. It'll take about 7 to 8 minutes for the egg to cook on this side. We're leaving the eggs undisturbed in the pan and cooking on a low heat. This will give us an omelet with a crispy exterior and a fluffy interior. This is one of the key characteristics of this Indian style omelet. This omelet's texture in the end will end up being a little bit like a Spanish omelet or a very, very flat souffle. Using the power of video editing, here's what the omelet looks like cooked halfway through. See how the edges are cooked, but the top is still liquid? We want to cook the egg 90% of the way through before flipping. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a mess on your stove when you try to flip the omelet. Once again, using video editing, I've sped forward to right before flipping. Here's what the omelet looks like when it's ready to flip. See how the edges are cooked and the top is still a little bit liquidy, but when the spatula is under the omelet, it doesn't move around very much. Now that we've flipped the omelet, you'll want to let it cook on the other side for about 1 minute. I'm going to flip the omelet one more time just to show you what the bottom looks like when it's cooked. You can see that the liquid egg is now cooked through, but it's not cooked quite as much as the top, and that's okay. Now we're done cooking this omelet, so you can turn off the heat and transfer the omelet to a plate. And here's the final omelet. It's crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside. The spices add a lot of flavor. The reason I use chili powder and fennel is because that's what my parents did when I was a kid. Feel free to add any spices that you prefer, such as coriander or garam masala or anything else you can think of. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. Here at Cook Like an Auntie, we focus on homemade Indian food in the United States. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.